What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the MG Cup Series here on NBCSN. We're at the Lowe's Motor Speedway for our second trip to this track this season, but a shorter distance race. And a little bit of news broke during the week. MG Cup Series officials do not like how Chris Mack and Papyrus Racing have been just kind of showing up and joining the race halfway through just to collect points and leaving again. They want these guys to at least take the green flag, so looks like Papyrus Racing might have a backup plan in the works here. As you see the 86 back there dropping back a little bit. Looks like they're going to try to keep him out on track and out of harm's way for a good portion of the race, and then he'll try to work his way up to the front and win this thing. At least that's what it seems like, because at plate tracks we usually see that kind of strategy, so I'd assume that's what they're doing, but they may just be very patient and very careful all day. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. Green flag is in the air. We are racing here at Charlotte. Jimmie Johnson, your pole sitter, didn't get a great start there. Dale Jr. on the high side had a good start, but cannot get much grip up there on the outside lane. A couple cars already up into the outside wall. It's the 15 of Michael Waltrip putting the wall in Waltrip, and there goes the 31 of Robbie Gordon around on the backstretch. Cars scattering to avoid him, and they're going to avoid perfectly fine. Racing back to the line, Jeff Gordon is going to edge out Jimmie Johnson at the stripe there. So that was a really quick caution there. But doesn't look like it'll take too long for us to get back going green here. So we're just going to do a few pace laps. So a wild start, but we're getting ready to send them off again here. Here we go. Through 3 and 4. Lights are out on the pace car. Pace car making the hard left turn on the pit road. Jeff Gordon leads the field to the green. And coming through the tri-oval, or quad oval, dog legs, whatever you want to call them. The green flag is back in the air, and we're racing once again. Speaking of dog leg, Phoenix, coming up in a couple of weeks, has safer barriers now, so it's going to be a much safer racetrack. Remember last year, Valeria Wolf in the 86 cut a tire down late in the going, and went straight into the outside wall. Pretty hard lick for her there. We're going to try to soften these impacts a little bit. Couple cars bouncing off the outside walls off of turn 4 there. That's going to be a common thing we see today as these guys get right up on the wall. Couple drivers going to try to make the outside line work. Gordon up into the wall again in 1 and 2. Another car in the wall, Terry Labonte. And there's J.J. Yaley. Oh, around goes Michael Waltrip. And a little bit of contact from Kurt Busch. They're wrecking him up big time in turn 3. The yellow flag is out once again. Jimmie Johnson worked his way back up to P2, but it's going to be Dale Jr. leading us back to the yellow flag. And look at the 11 car, J.J. Yaley, all torn up. And we're going to take a look at what just went down here on the backstretch. So it all started with Michael Waltrip in the 15. Where is he? Here he is, back here. Mikey in the middle of 3 wide, it seems. And there's going to be some contact made here. Ken Schrader, and then the 97 Kurt Busch, nowhere to go. Gets sent down into the inside wall. Contact with Sterling Marlin, sent him into it there. J.J. Yaley tried to shoot through the middle. Obviously that hole closed up. going to try it again from this angle. We can see heading down towards turn 3 here. Slow it down. There's JJ Yaley. I mean, everybody that tried to go by on the outside got collected in it. It just kind of the hole kind of just closed up there. You can see the 97 getting it into the inside wall. The 40 of Sterling Marlin sliding through the grass, going to try to save it here, and he does. And then these guys up on the track, nothing they can do. Mike Skinner in the 31 got damage. That's what brings out the second caution here today. A big wreck heading into turn 3. Takes out a lot of cars towards the back half of the field. Right back. We're gonna drop the green flag after this. Whoops, accidentally went too far, but the green flag is back in the air. Oh, look who's in the top 5 right now. It's the 84 of Kyle Busch having a strong run. Wasn't expecting to see him up here. That 84 machine is flying, and it looks like we've got another... No, we don't. I thought I saw the yellow flag, but I guess not. JJ out in front. Kyle Busch slides up the racetrack into Dale Jr. They go into the wall. Here comes McMurray up in the P2. Jamie Mack, another championship contender. It's only a 4-point difference between McMurray. Or no, 2-point difference. Wait, was it 2 or 4? I don't remember. But it's a really short gap between McMurray and Jimmie Johnson here. McMurray on the high side trying to get it to stick, and it looks like he will get it to stick through 1 and 2. Gets a good run off the corner and down the back stretch. So does Elliott Sattler right in front of him, though. Sattler still looking for his first career win in the MG Cup Series. Jeremy Mayfield on a winless streak, hasn't won since last season. Kyle Busch back there trying to make a name for himself. As we have learned, next season will be Terry Labonte's final season full-time in the MG Cup Series. Or at least final season for Rick Hendrick. Kyle Busch will be taking over that 5 machine, so now it looks like he's just trying to show what he can do, give the field a preview of what he can do, show them who exactly he is. Running up in the 4th place, looking for P3 on Elliott Sattler. Jimmie Johnson trying to drive away from it. Slower cars in the back. Just kind of cruising along here. McMurray hits the outside wall off of 4. There's his teammate back there as well. The 41 of Casey Mears. Up into the mix. Kyle Busch up into the outside wall. Now here comes Terry Labonte. Here comes Bobby Labonte. Both the Labonte brothers 3 wide with Kyle Busch down the backstretch. Heading into turn 3, Terry slides high, gonna try to block the air on that 84 car. Terry gets up into the outside wall. His teammates right behind him, they don't want to wreck each other. Here comes the 6 of Mark Martin, that white and blue Viagra machine. It's been fast. Won a race earlier this season. I had to check up a little for Terry Labonte. Here comes his teammate, Greg Biffle, in the 16, right behind Martin. Cars are everywhere here. This mid-pack battle never really calms down throughout these races. It stays crazy for the entire duration of the event. And look at Jeff Gordon back here, trying to work his way up through the field. Contact! Whoa! Crazy save by the 22 of Scott Wimmer as he made contact with Matt Kenseth. Kenseth almost spun him out. And they're all bunched up now, 3 wide. Multiple lanes being used. The outside groove still hasn't exactly... It's not quite coming in yet. They're trying to use it. I mean, a couple guys can make it stick, but some drivers just can't. Kenseth gets pushed up the racetrack by Gordon. Had to get out of it. Gordon's going to fly by him here. There are cars everywhere off of turn 2. Heading down the backstretch. Who is that? That's the 75 of David Starr making his first appearance on the channel. Or in the MG Cup Series this season, at least. David Starr, a newcomer in the 75. Whoa, one car through the grass to Sterling Marlin as he had to avoid the 84 Kyle Busch. Now he's down on the apron, gets loose, saves it. Oh, and a car in the wall behind them. The 86 bounced off of it. Chris Mack looks like he's going to try to start working his way up through the field here. His tires clearly starting to wear out just a bit as he bounces off the wall again. Gets underneath the 43 of Jeff Green. Looks underneath the 97 of Kurt Busch. And is going to have to back off a little early here. They're 3 wide right in front of him. Kurt slides up the racetrack. Had to check up to avoid running over Scott Wimmer. There's Scott Riggs in the 10 on the outside of Wimmer. Chris Mack shoots up to the high side. Going to try to get back down low underneath the 75 of David Starr. Starr goes right into the outside wall. Didn't even attempt to make the corner. And now here comes the 86 underneath the 21 of Ricky Rudd. And looking at the zero machine, Ward Burton. Oh man, 3 wide once again. Look at this. The 86 has to back off entering 1 once again here. Cars are everywhere. Ward Burton in the 0. Almost made contact with the 86 as the 86 came up the racetrack just a little bit. Mack he thought about peeking to the inside of the 99. Decided against it, but man, that 86 car is fast here today. Pirates Racing always prepares fast race cars, just can't quite put it together and have a good race. They won 1 race this season at Riverside, but have struggled in pretty much every other race and throughout most of last season. Barely even finished these races because of how crazy they get. They're trying to work on qualifying a little better up towards the front and keeping their car in one piece by the end of it. And Chris Mack seems to have lasted a lot longer in this race than he has in some other races, or most other races that he's been in. Goes way down to the inside, gives Casey Kane a lot of room off the corner. Checks up. These guys are 3 wide in front of him. That's not going to end well if he just shoots it in there. Rusty Wallace in the middle, bouncing off each other. Dale Jarrett hit the outside wall a little bit there. The 86 clears the 84 and the 2. That's going to move him up into the top 15. And these guys 3 wide behind them now settle back down to 2. This is like a plate package almost. How much the draft is being used. Here comes the 86 up on the Rocket Man. Ryan Newman kisses the outside wall just a little bit. Here comes Johnny Sauter with a run down the front stretch as they cross the start-finish line. Sauter looking low to the inside of the 86. Chris Mack, what's he gonna do? Slides way high. He's gonna. Oh my goodness, is he gonna keep it straight? No, Dale Jarrett gets into him. And they're going around on the backstretch, the 99 into the inside wall. The 86, I'm not even sure he hit the wall. I think he got so close to the wall it messed with the air. Or something. I'm really not sure. He didn't damage it too bad, but obviously the tires are down, and this is not what Papyrus Racing needed. They can salvage this. This car isn't exactly... It's not torn up too badly. It's a little... The worst damage I'd say is on the right side, but the rear and the front, they can repair this and get them back out there. Hearing on the radio, though, it looks like they're done for the day. They're not gonna... Yeah, they're out of the race. They don't want to risk tearing that car up even more, especially with another 1.5 mile track coming up at Atlanta in a few weeks after Martinsville next week. But anyways, your race leader is the 48 of Jimmie Johnson. He's got a lap car. That's the 72 of Ted Christopher right in front of him. So we're about to go green once again here from Charlotte. And I guess we could go back and take a look at the replays, because we didn't really get a chance to. It just kind of skipped forward a little bit, and we never looked at the replay. But let's see what happened to the 86 here. Did he get the outside wall? No, I'd say... Oh, yeah, a little bit. You saw the sparks there. I'd say he just kissed it, and that was enough to mess with the air or mess with something. I'm not sure. But the car just snapped on him, went right around. And he tried to keep it low. He's down on the bottom of the racetrack. He's locked it up now, trying not to come back up the track, but nowhere for Dale Jarrett to go but into his right front tire. And he knows it's into the outside wall, collecting the 99 of Jeff Burton. You see Kyle Busch with damage. Ward Burton had a piece of that as well. Both the Burton brothers. I watched Jeff head on into the inside wall. Pretty good impact there as well. Even at lower speeds, still a pretty big impact. 21 of Ricky Rudd got a piece of it, but he's fine. The 75 of David Starr, slow, as he was stuck on the apron there after avoiding that. A couple cars going through the grass for some reason, but they made it out alive. So anyway, now to look at the restart. Ted Christopher leads us to the green, and your race leader Jimmie Johnson in the 48 right behind him immediately tries to figure out how to get past him. He's going to jump down to the bottom here. The 72 almost cleared himself, had to stay high. A couple of cars trying to make the outside line work. Through 1 and 2 they can do... Oh! Ricky Craven saves it after contact with Dale Jr. But yeah, a couple of these guys can make the outside line work. Not consistently, but it works better off 2 than it does off 4. As you see Junior get hooked into the grass a little there by Ryan Newman. Newman keeps it straight. They are 3 wide. Oh, one into the outside wall is Ted Christopher. Keeps it high. He's going to stay up there. Stay it out of the way. These guys get by without too much of an issue. But slower lapped cars bunching the field up big time here. It's a matter of time before disaster strikes. Because look at this. Here comes Jeff Gordon up into the mix as he's working his way up, climbing his way through the field. Johnny Sauter's in the outside wall. He's going to straighten it out. Ricky Craven slows up most of the back half of the field. Ward Burton's going to get by him. One in the wall, Scott Wimmer. See a little bit of tire smoke as these guys they pop it sideways in the middle of the corners here. They get very loose. Kind of dirt tracking it around here. Casey Mears gets passed on he's on the outside. He was on the outside at 3 wide. Down the front stretch, here comes Tony Stewart with a run on Jimmie Johnson. Where's Jimbo gonna go? Can he hang on to the lead? Stewart has a pretty big run. He's probably gonna get him this time by into 3. Johnson opens the door for him a little bit. Slides wide. Here comes Tony. Whoa! Stewart had to check up there because Johnson about got up into the outside wall. Jimmy's gonna lead that lap, but here comes Stewart to his inside. Look at Greg Biffle up into the picture, racing for 3rd here. One of the best runs we've ever seen out of Biffle. And now here comes Jeff Gordon underneath the 16. He's gonna blow by the Biff like he was sitting still. Car in the wall. Casey Mears. Another car hit the wall behind him, I think, but kind of just kissed it. Didn't hit it as hard as Mears did. It's a surprise we haven't seen tire failures with how often these guys are hitting the wall. There's McMurray was brushing it a little bit through 1 and 2. And then there's a wasp nest of cars back here. Just an absolute swarm of cars. As you see Kyle Petty in the middle of that, or in the front of that, I should say. Look at Mike Skinner with no rear end on this car trying to work his way back up through the pack. That's got to be a nightmare for him to handle, but he's making it work here. Look at the 19 riding right up against the wall. Or not against the wall, obviously, but pretty close to it. By the 2 feet or a foot off the wall. A foot or 2 off the wall, I should say. Here comes Mark Martin underneath Tony Stewart. Martin was in the mid-pack battle just a handful of laps ago, but now he's up into the top 3. And this is about that time where we have to take a quick break. We will be right back after this. Welcome back to the MG Cup Series here on NBCSN. Racing at the Lowe Motor Speedway here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Jeff Gordon, your leader. His Hendrick teammate Jimmie Johnson right behind him. Hendrick Motorsports 1-2 right now, as these two are in a heated battle for the championship along with Jamie McMurray. Jamie Mack is actually pretty far back, outside of the top 10. He's been kind of struggling on this long run, but he's got a quick car here today on the short run. He's just unable to put it together on the long runs. So they're going to be working on that car all day here. But he's sitting in 19th right now, just kind of cruising around out there, trying to keep the fenders on it. As you can see, some right side damage. He's been up into the outside wall a few times. And now working on the 10 of Scott Riggs. Riggs having a pretty decent run as well. Slides wide. He's going to open the door for the 42. McMurray's going to drive on by. Mark Martin in 3rd. See the 2 Hendrick boys right up there in front of him, trying to reel them in. But they're just kind of staying in line and cruising around, not really racing each other. And that's what's helping them stay ahead of the 6 machine as they catch a lapped car here. It's the 72 of Ted Christopher. now that we've got a green flag run going, this brings up the question of green flag pit stops. Will we see any? What kind of strategies will be pulled off if we do see some green flag pit stops? You see side by side further up, they're probably going to settle that out by the time these leaders get there. I know they're hoping for that to happen. Car on the outside wall off of Ford. That's the 43 of Jeff Green. That popped the wall. How about David Starr in the 75? Making his first start and running pretty solid up inside the top 30. Which really isn't much of an accomplishment, but it is his first start. He's keeping the car relatively clean, running pretty well here today, and I mean, he was a little further up earlier today, but it's kind of dropped back a little bit. He's running on the high side through 1 and 2. Gonna let these guys by. Not really pushing it too hard. Just needs to complete all laps here today. 25 of Brian Vickers running pretty well as well here. 20th place, just kind of cruising along. The 01 of Joe Nemechek seems to be having issues here. He's down on the apron a little bit, kind of straddling the white line. He's going to keep it rolling. And where is he going to go? Ted Christopher closes the door for a split second there. Now here comes Terry Labonte in the 5 car. Jamie McMurray catching these two as well. Looks like whatever that issue was with the 01, they sorted that out. Car in the wall up ahead of them. Greg Biffle tapped the wall just a little bit. He's going to lose a lot of momentum and a lot of spots because of that. Lost about 4 of them. Here comes Terry Labonte inside of the 01. Gets by Joe Nemechek pretty cleanly there. '21 of Ricky Rudd. Working on the 38 of Elliott Sadler. As he saw the 18 get into the outside wall off of turn 4. Seems to be a common thing here today. Car is popping the outside wall off of turn 4. Look at Casey Kane into the mix. Where's he going to go? He thought about taking it 3 wide. He decided against it last second. Here comes Rocket Man Ryan Newman behind them. Backs off a little early. Lets them drive off into the corner. He's probably going to reel these two back in. But look at this, slower cars in front of them side by side here while they race side by side. This may or may not end well. They're going to get through pretty cleanly, it seems. Still have quite a bit of cars on track right now. The last DNF car is Chris Mack in the 86. That's 31 laps down, or excuse me, 31 laps ago. So it's been quite a while since anyone's really DNF. Nobody's really pulling off the track because of mechanical issues or just starting parks. So the last car on track right now is 40th place. That's Ted Christopher, the 72 machine. So we still got a ton of cars out on track, which can create a few problems for the leaders here because they're gonna go around and start lapping people, and it may slow them down. But they're still running just 1-2 here pretty smoothly, just logging laps at this point. We're gonna get a quick crank it up I'm gonna mute for a second. These two are out to a 4-second lead over the third place car, Mark Martin. I think it's safe to say who the fastest cars out on track right now are. Because these guys are just gone. You don't really see drivers pull out to big leads like this with this package, but I mean, especially with this car's left out on the track, usually the draft goes such a long way that these drivers usually stay together, but these guys have just pulled away. It's kind of separated the field a little bit because it's a 4-second gap between first, second, and third and fourth, and then third and fourth have another 4-second gap to fifth and sixth, and everyone behind them. So it's a pretty spread out race, which is pretty different from what we're used to in the MG Cup Series. But look at the 6 of Mark Martin working on the 29 of Kevin Harvick. That's for third place. And remember last season's race, Jimmie Johnson lapped pretty much every car, or excuse me, earlier this season, I should say, not last season. He lapped pretty much every car in the field. I believe only 4 or 5 cars finished on the lead lap in that race in the Coke 600 this year. So I don't know, Charlotte just, Lowe's Motor Speedway just kind of produces some dominant runs for certain drivers, especially these Hendrick drivers, as they come up to lap the 72 once again. We are past halfway through this race, so this race moving along pretty quickly. Love to see it. Love to see races run smooth like this, but through 1 and 2, got a big gaggle of cars back here racing for P6 or P5 actually. And it looks like green flag pit stops are underway. So while that happens, we're gonna have to take a break. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the MG Cup Series. We are under caution for the 4th time tonight after an incident during green flag pit stops. Let's go back and show you what it was that brought out the yellow. Five of Terry Labonte got spun as They tried to enter pit road in front of him, and he checked up, and the 16 checked up, and they all ran over each other. So pit road shenanigans have not gone away, even with the safer barriers being added and the high groove coming in. That really just kind of caused more problems because drivers from the high line tried to merge in a pit road, and it really just didn't work. So that's what brought out our yellow for the 4th time here today. We're going to be right back after this. Oh boy, look at what we have to deal with now. There is a bunch of lapped cars down on the inside line, and a bunch of lead lap cars racing for possibly their 1st or 2nd career wins. Mark Martin has quite a few wins under his belt in the EMG Cup Series, about 3 or 4 actually, I believe. Tony Stewart got his first win earlier this season at California. So we know he's hungry for another one. But the green flag is back in the air. And we are rolling big time off of turn 2. A couple cars on the outside wall as usual here. On these restarts, drivers jockeying for position, not really leaving any room for error. As you see the 32 get up into the outside wall. Cars scrambling around trying to get by Ricky Craven, who is a lap car with damage to the back end of his 32 machine. There's another damaged car in the mix. Oh, trouble! Into the outside wall. His teammates, and a big hit for Michael Waltrip. Nowhere for him to go, and the track gets completely blocked. The caution is going to come out. Looks like Jamie McMurray and Dale Jr. get back on the lead lap. Your race leader is Mark Martin in the 6th. And a pretty big wreck in 3 and 4. Heavy damage to the 88 of Dale Jarrett. Look at the 40 of Sterling Marlin. That car completely destroyed as it limps back around. They're going to probably tell him to stop here because he's going to be leaking fluid on the track. The 43 of Jeff Green has heavy damage to the left side. And we're going to go back and take a look at what all just went down here. That was a big crash that came pretty much out of nowhere. But we all knew it was coming with these restarts. How these restarts have been all day. So the 41 of Casey Mears, the 40 of Sterling Marlin, Ganassi teammates making contact, run out of room in 1 and 2. Oh, the 40 looks like got tight underneath his teammate, slid up, and they both got into the outside wall. And Michael Waltrip was committed to the high lane, had a ton of speed, tried to cut low, but at that point it was way too late. Plows into the back of the 40. That sends him down the racetrack, clipping the 97, sending him back up the racetrack. And all these guys down on the apron running over each other that were trying to avoid it and slow down. And then as cars come down off the banking, they get collected. There's the 43 getting some damage. The 50 of Derek Cope has heavy damage. The 0 has big time damage as well. There's the 72 of Ted Christopher rolling through the debris. And a ton of good cars being taken out in this big wreck. Kurt Busch was fast, but gets caught up in this. He was an innocent bystander. Thought he made it through down on the bottom, but the 15 got shot down the racetrack right into him. And then there's Dale Jarrett, you see, with his heavy damage to the front end of his car. Let's go back up to the front. Watch how this started once again. Sterling Marlin and Casey Mears up into the outside wall. They were keeping it up there for the most part. Probably were going to slide down the banking, but it wouldn't have collected quite as many cars. But Michael Waltrip came along, and there was nowhere for these guys to go. You see a little bit of contact with the 75 and David Starr, but Starr escapes it relatively cleanly. There's a little bit of contact with Kyle Petty and Ward Burton that beat up the left side of that Zero machine. Cars everywhere as they drive away from it. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with another crazy restart after this. Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway here on NBCSN. Getting ready for yet another restart after our 5th caution of the day. Pace car makes the hard left turn back on the pit road. We're going green once again with the 20 leading us to the line this time. Not sure how Tony Stewart ended up almost going a lap down, but here he is, green flag back in the air. Your race leader is the 25 of Brian Vickers, but immediately his teammate Jimmie Johnson hops down to the low side, and he's going to take the lead away from Brian Vickers here. Now Vickers, contact! Round goes Johnson into the outside wall. Another big crash is going to happen down the back straightaway. Cars are everywhere. Oh man, one car just turned over. Who is that? That's Brendan Gaughan on his roof. And cars are everywhere down the back straightaway. These restarts have been chaotic, and now that the aggression is ramping up, they've gotten even crazier here. Down the backstretch, a car upside down. It was the 77 of Brendan Gaughan. And carnage on the back straightaway. Yellow flag is out once again. The red flag is going to have to come out because that car is stuck on its roof, and they're going to have to flip him back over. But let's go back now and take a look at what just happened. So all drivers are okay. We heard Brendan Gaughan talking on the radio, letting his team know he was alright. And man, these guys started stacking them up back there. One car was already spinning before he even got to the pileup. That's Kyle Petty in a 45 spinning like a top back there. And then you see the 77 getting propped up onto its roof. What happened here? I believe Brian Vickers got into the back of, that was Rusty Wallace that he turned. Looks like he tried to slide up behind him and kind of misjudged it a little bit off of turn 2. And that clips him, sent him down the racetrack into Jimmie Johnson. Jimmie gets up into the outside wall, crunches in the nose a little bit, then gets some rear end damage as he collected Brian Vickers. The 84 of Kyle Busch gets by cleanly, but everybody else behind does not. You see Mark Martin, one of the faster cars here today, trying to make it through, gets collected, ended a big hit. Sent all 4 wheels of the 32 off the ground. You see the 77 to the left turning over there, sliding on his roof, making contact with Mark Martin. What was a calm race has turned into calamity here as cars get wadded up on the backstretch. We're going to have to find some better angles to this that really show everything that went down. Let's go helicopter cam, or bird's eye cam, that's how I like to call it. Man, some wild stuff. I know I missed like half of it, but we can look at it again. You see them getting into the wall up there. They start checking up, and then they start stacking up here. Watch this. Nowhere for Biffle to go, and then these guys just, oh man. Let's go on board with Casey Kane in the 9. Oh man. Casey did a really good job slowing down there and avoiding that. Avoiding getting really torn up. But let's watch it again from his view. Look to the left. Drivers come sliding in from behind him. Here's the 42 of McMurray getting pushed in by the 50. And that's a championship contender right there. McMurray was only about 2 points behind the 48 of Jimmie Johnson, but now he's going to have a really tough hole to climb out of, because there are not many cars DNF from this race, as I mentioned a handful of laps ago, and it's going to be hard for him to stay up to speed here. He's going to have to try to hope to get as many spots as he can. On board with the 41 of Casey Mears. As he comes through the smoke, he's going to try to get to the left, but at this point it's too late. Runs into Rusty Wallace. Let's go on board with some of the key players in this race that we're taking out, like the 6 of Mark Martin. If I can find them. You know what, let's just do it the old-fashioned way. He had 4 wide in front of him. That's how Kyle Petty got spun. And then he sees a hole, then it closes up, and then, oh man, big hit there. And knock him right out of this race. That's about 4, I believe that's 4 of the 5 Roush racing cars involved in this wreck. Because I saw Matt Kenseth get a piece of that. Greg Biffle's in it as well. Let's go on board with Biffle. Trying to slow down, runs into Jamie McMurray, and just nowhere to go. Thought he saw a hole shoot through there, but it just closed up. The track got blocked in a hurry, and all the drivers that thought they could make it through couldn't. It's going to take Martin right out of this race as well. Let's go on board with the 17 of Matt Kenseth. Let's see what he saw. Saw a bunch of drivers plowing into it. Then he runs into the 77 while it was upside down. Really didn't have too much damage until that point right there. So he might be able to keep it going. This good day going here. Let's go on board with Jamie McMurray. He's on the brakes, does everything he should, then watch this. Bang! Gets hit from behind and pushed right into the carnage. As we are under a red flag, if you're just now joining us, from this big crash that happened on the back straightaway. Brendan Gaughan was way back here. Let's watch him. Man, this is some craziness happening on the back straightaway. I believe Kurt Busch was out of the race at this point. Let me check. No, he's in it. He's still here. Even after being involved in that wreck earlier. Gonna get through pretty cleanly. So, seems that the 97 of Kurt Busch is the only Roush Racing entry not involved in this wreck. All 4 of his teammates caught up in it. Kenseth, Burton, Martin, and Biffle. Wait, no, Burton escaped. Okay, so Burton's still gone, but Burton has damage from a previous wreck. So does Kurt Busch. So really all 5 of the Roush Racing entries have been caught up in wrecks here today. But we still got 2 that weren't involved in this wreck, so they're going to have some pretty good track positions. Well, actually, I take that back because Burton's a lap down. But Kurt Busch might be able to still have a pretty good day out of all of this. Go on board with Jeff Gordon because he was in the meat of all that further back. Start checking up. He's going to pull to the inside. Gonna try to follow the 8 throughs. Wow! Did a great job avoiding that wreck. That was actually impressive. Not sure how he made it through that. So that's what brought out this red flag. We will be back under yellow after this break. Anyways, welcome back to the MG Cup Series here on NBCSN. We're getting ready to go green once again after a massive crash brought out the red flag. We've still got quite a bit of cars left in this race, but most of them have damage, including a race leader, Jimmie Johnson, who for some reason decided not to pit. So, green flag back in the air, and that 48 car is not getting a good launch. The 99 fired off better than him. Most of the field is getting stacked up. Here's the 75, David Starr on the inside. Starr is going to take the lead off of that because he's restarted 6th, and he's going to pull away from the rest of the field. David Starr, in his first start, driving away from the rest of the pack. How about that for David Starr, an underdog in the field here today, driving away from the rest of the pack as your leader. Everybody else is a lap down, or they're stuck behind the 48 of Jimmie Johnson, who tried to stay on track and maintain some track position. Has a little bit of damage slowing them down, as you can see. And there are cars everywhere. Kyle Petty is in second, trying to work his way through the traffic. Look at all these lap cars trying to get their laps back and get back on the lead lap here. Jamie McMurray almost up into the outside wall. Man, these restarts are insane. And look at Kyle Petty running down the 75. David Starr, no sponsors on that car. The rookie trying to hold on to the lead as he's led like 2 laps now. But here comes Kyle Petty to the inside and pushing Petty. That's the 17 of Matt Kenseth pushing that 45. And look at Casey Kane behind Kenseth. Lots of new faces out in front. Your dominant drivers of the day are either stuck in the back or have crash damage. So your championship battle, there's no telling what might happen as far as the championship is concerned. But you see Jeff Gordon back there pushing Kevin Harvick down the backstretch, trying to work his way back up to the front of the field here. Looking at Kyle Busch in the 84 machine, trying to get his lap back. Kyle Petty trying to get back up to the front. Kenseth bounced off the outside wall. Who led that lap? I couldn't tell. Oh, wait, no. Casey Kane is your leader. I wasn't even paying attention to that. Casey Kane, your new race leader. The rookie Casey Kane, fighting for Rookie of the Year. Out in front. The 38 Elliott Sattler right behind him. Now here comes the 9 off of turn 4. Has to deal with the 38 to his inside. Sattler is there. Can he make it work? Will Kane pinch him down? They slide entering turn 1. Kane has to back off on the high side. Here comes Ryan Newman, the Rocket Man, on the inside of the 9 machine. Will he push Casey Kane? He's going to have to slide in line behind the 9 here. These are 2 Dodges. Can they work together to get by this Ford of Elliott Sattler? Newman has a good run down the front stretch. He's in his draft. He's pushing them down the front straightaway here. Kane checked up a little bit just to get to the bottom. And now underneath the 38, he's got to push from behind. Ryan Newman staying loyal to the Dodges, working with Casey Kane, pushes them past. Now what will Newman do? Kane drifts up the racetrack a little bit. Here comes Ryan Newman. Whoa, Jeff Gordon got a little sideways there, but he is flying around this racetrack as he tries to work his way back up into the top 3, and he does. Now trying to get back up to the front and lead this thing. And we are within 10 laps to go as well. Here from Lowe's Motor Speedway, this thing is coming to an end, and you can tell by how everyone is racing. They are not giving an inch here. Everybody getting aggressive. Look at the 30 of Johnny Sauter, who is battling Casey Kane for Rookie of the Year, drives by Casey Kane. Kane about got up into the outside wall through 1 and 2 there. The Rookie of the Year battle could come down to this right here. Sauter and Kane battling for position. Johnny Sauter going to try to drive by Ryan Newman. Newman got up into the outside wall. He almost did it again off of turn 4. Here comes Kasey Kahne with a run on Newman. Look at Tony Stewart with a run down the front stretch. Not sure where that speed came from, but Tony Stewart flying around this racetrack. He's back on the lead lap now, by the way. He was almost a lap down, a few cautions to go, but these yellow flags, these big wrecks really helped him out as the cautions came out right before he could get lapped. So he stayed on the lead lap, and he's benefiting from it, as now he's trying to work his way up into the top 5. He's catching Kasey Kahne underneath the 9 now. Look at how many cars are behind them in a second pack back there. Stewart's teammate leading that pack, that's Bobby Labonte in the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. And he's got a ton of fast cars behind him as well. Look at Jamie McMurray, a lap down in 24th position. He's not racing for anything, but these guys are, so things might get rowdy with them. Kurt Busch, however, is racing McMurray for position. That's why McMurray is driving so hard here. He's going to have to slide up. He's into the wall. Kurt Busch is going to go by him here. Meanwhile, up front, your leaders have caught some lap traffic. Dale Jr. is one of them, trying to stay in front of these guys here. Trying to stay on the lead lap. It's not going to happen. Jeff Gordon, your race leader, drives past the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here comes the 38 of Elliott Sadler. Sadler looking low. Sauter pushing him. Gordon slides high off of 2. And Sadler has to push down the front stretch. A big run down the front straightaway. Gordon trying to fight back on the high side. He's got some grip now. He's got some really good grip on the high line, but gets up into the outside wall. Stepped a little bit over the line there. 3 laps to go here from Lowe's Motor Speedway, and the fight for the lead is on as Ryan Newman just muscled Johnny Sauter out of the way. That was for second place, and now Newman has got his eyes set on the leader, Elliott Sadler here. But here comes Tony Stewart. Stewart flying through the field. You saw the speed he had as he caught this pack, and now up in the third place with 2 laps to go, looking for second on Ryan Newman. And Jeff Gordon falling way back after getting into the wall. That car has not been handling right. He's just trying to hang on to it and hang on to these spots here at this point. Johnny Sauter, Kasey Kahne, the battle for Rookie of the Year right there underneath him, as he's stuck on the outside line. Coming to the white flag one more time around for Elliott Sadler, looking for his first career win here in the MG Cup Series. But he's got Tony Stewart, a hard-charging Tony Stewart, right behind him. Here comes Stewart to the inside off of turn 2. Side by side down the backstretch. And Stewart has help from Dale Jr. Dale Jr. is a lap down, but they're both Chevy drivers, and the Chevys working together to try to pass Elliott Sadler here. Off of turn 4, side by side, Sadler into the wall. Here comes Tony Stewart on the inside. He's going to take the checkered flag from Lowe's Motor Speedway. What a crazy fight to the end it was between 6 drivers. Well, 5 drivers for a top 10 spot. One of 6 drivers, but one of them was a lap down. So 5 drivers for the win. Not a top 10 spot. Not sure what I was talking about. Jeff Gordon finished 5th, but will probably benefit the most in the points battle, because his championship contenders, Jamie McMurray and Jimmie Johnson, both were involved in accidents and fell way back. Jimmie finished 19th and McMurray finished 23rd. A crazy fight to the end. And Sadler came oh so close to winning it. As we watch it again. Look at Stewart on the bottom, taking the checkered flag as he wins from Lowe's Motor Speedway. And a great move and a great push from a manufacturer teammate the Chevys working together to get Tony Stewart his, I believe, second career win in the MG Cup Series, if not third. I don't remember if he won any other races this season other than his first win, which I forgot what track that was even at. But man, some crazy stuff here from the Lowe's Motor Speedway. This track produced a banger here today, and I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe. Hope to see you guys next time, and until then, peace.